Hey, what's up, ladies and germs? Welcome back to another edition of... Today is October the 9th, 2019, and today I wanted to talk about something very interesting. A article that was on Reddit under the section of glitches in the Matrix. Now, I know a lot of people are pretty skeptical about this, but there is a huge amount of people who have actually experienced something that was similar to this or too coincidental to not have questioned how this is even possible. Let's just get right into it. Alright, so earlier today I had an hour between uni classes. I went to a nearby cafe and sat outside for a coffee and a smoke. I scrolled through my phone on Facebook, and there was an article posted about The Matrix 4 coming out. And it reminded me of this subject, Reddit. I don't really go on Reddit so much. I do browse this subject every now and then because I just love reading the stories. Anyway, a homeless dude looked early 20s, came up to my table and asked for a cigarette. I took one out of my pocket and passed it to him. He took it, pulled up a chair, and sat down opposite side of me. This kind of caught me off guard, but I just smiled and kept scrolling through my phone. He finished his cigarette and says, "Hey, can you put your phone down for 1 fucking second, please?" I would have been pissed if somebody had told me that. But I want to tell you something. I'm thinking that he's nuts, but I do it and look at him. He looks me right in the eyes and says, "I escaped the fucking Matrix." Obviously, this dude's either off his medication or this is, an interesting situation. I got goosebumps down my back. There was no possible way he would have seen what was on my phone. It was a sunny day, and the phone glare must have been physically or basically on my face for him to be able to read it. So I asked him to explain. This was about a 3-hour long conversation, 2 missed classes, where he was talking to me about how he figured out the Matrix and how he was able to control situations with his mind, among so much else. He says he attracts just the right people at the right times, and the people he engages with all have connections to the number 11. He says, "You probably are too. Otherwise, I wouldn't have sat here." "When is your birthday?" he asks. "My birthday is 11/11. When I tell him, he just nods like that's exactly what he's expected. He asks me to think of a random topic, and I decide on Mickey and Minnie Mouse. He says he'll bring them to life for me. Less than 10 minutes later, a couple walks past wearing Mickey and Minnie Mouse ears and bumps into the table. There aren't any Disney touristy hot spots or anything like Disney related near us. It was too random and out of place. And not only that, but they literally bumped right into us. It blew my mind." So there's a whole much more stuff in this conversation, but I think it's interesting to talk about because there is random coincidences that happen in a person's life that are almost hard to explain of how they even happen. And I can't think of a single person who hasn't experienced a situation where they either meet somebody or have had something happen to them where they figure out that this is too random of a coincidence and too much of an interesting situation to be ignored. Anyway, like this video, subscribe to my page. Peace.